The NASCAR Cup Series race at Atlanta Motor Speedway on February 23, 2025 saw tempers flare between veteran Kyle Busch and young gun Carson Hocevar. Busch, the two-time Cup Series champion, was left fuming after Hocevar made several aggressive moves on track that cost Busch positions and nearly wrecked him. Busch's anger boiled over on the team radio after one particularly close call with Hocevar. The dramatic radio outburst came after Hocevar, the 22-year-old Spire Motorsports driver and reigning Cup Series Rookie of the Year, dove to the inside of Busch in a bank turn, forcing the Richard Childress Racing veteran to lift off the throttle abruptly. The incident dropped Busch, who had been running 11th, back multiple positions. NASCAR YouTuber Eric Estepp captured Busch's livid reaction, which occurred just after the end of Stage 1. Busch's spotter and crew chief commiserated with his anger, with one responding, "10-4, love it. I'll let him know," and adding that he was thinking the same thing. Later in the race, Busch tapped his roof to signal that a subsequent close call was Hocevar's fault, saying, "No shit, Sherlock," to further express his frustration with the sophomore driver's overly aggressive tactics.
"I don't give a fuck if he taps his roof like it's his fault. No shit, Sherlock."
Hocevar's numerous close calls and bold maneuvers drew criticism from several other veterans as well during the Ambetter Health 400. Team Penske's Ryan Blaney also had run-ins with Hocevar, including contact from the number 77 that sent Blaney spinning late in the race while running in the top 5. "I told you, Timmy," Blaney radioed to spotter Tim Fedewa after the spin, "Hocevar is an absolute weapon." "I don't know what we can do about it," Fedewa responded, to which Blaney vented, "He's just a moron. Shoot, he just runs right in the back of you. He has zero idea of where to bump somebody and where not to. He's swiping across my bumper as he's doing it. He just has no idea the whole race." In addition to his tangle with Blaney, Hocevar also drew the ire of Ross Chastain, who has served as a mentor figure to the young driver. Chastain pulled Hocevar aside for a lengthy but animated conversation on pit road after the race, at one point placing his hand on the rookie's shoulder like a disapproving older brother. When asked by PRN if he heard what he wanted from Hocevar in that talk, Chastain replied bluntly, "No, sir." Hocevar also declined to reveal details of their discussion, saying only, "Sometimes you agree and disagree at things. Ultimately, I felt like I made the decision that was to win the race." Despite the numerous confrontations, Hocevar went on to finish a career-best second place at Atlanta, while Busch salvaged a 7th-place result. Race winner Christopher Bell narrowly edged out Hocevar on the final lap to snap a 9-month winless streak for Joe Gibbs Racing. After the race, Busch had harsh criticism for Hocevar in a discussion with NBC Sports' Dustin Long. Busch said,
"He just had a lot of close calls. He wasn't even clear on me. I had to lift, and he put me in the fence off of 2 in the first stage, So he's just trying to plug holes and do it last second and last minute, and creating log jams on back, and it's just."
Busch acknowledged Hocevar's fast car and bold driving style, which allowed the rookie to slice through the field, but questioned the wisdom and timing of his moves. Busch said,
"He had a fast car, and he was doing a lot of moves with it to get himself in position. He came from behind me when they stopped for tires and we didn't, so he had a fast car. So, give benefit, but it's also just circumstantial of where we're all at in today's age with the cars."
Denny Hamlin, Busch's former teammate at Joe Gibbs Racing, provided analysis of the conflicts on Monday's Actions Detrimental podcast. While Hamlin did not directly witness the Hocevar-Busch run-in, he speculated based on Busch's comments that Carson put him in a horrible spot, and it forced him to check up, which then could have gotten him wrecked. Hamlin recognized Busch's radio rant as an example of drivers being telephone tough guys in the heat of competition. Hamlin said, "We are telephone tough guys, no doubt about it. We will threaten over the radio anyone and everyone. If he does this, I'm gonna send him over the fence, and then nothing ever happens."
We are telephone tough guys. No doubt about it. We will threaten over the radio anyone and everyone.
Hamlin elaborated, "As a driver, when you're saying that you're trying, or at least I am, I don't want to speak for everyone, you're trying to send a message to either the crew chief or spotter on that driver's team to hear you, and then say, 'Hey, be careful around Denny, he's pretty pissed.' That's all you're trying to do, is get the message out to them."
You're trying to get the message to either the crew chief or the spotter on that driver's team to hear you and then say, hey, be careful around Denny. He's pretty pissed. Like, that's all you're trying to do is like.
For some, the outrage directed at Hocevar from Busch, Blaney, Chastain, and others is just the latest flashpoint in a long-running cycle of younger drivers arriving in the Cup Series and ruffling the feathers of established veterans as they make bold moves to gain positions. Xfinity Series competitor Landon Castle tweeted after the race, "It's so funny to see a bunch of veteran drivers pissed at a young and aggressive rookie going for his first win. A tale as old as time. I love it." There are numerous prominent examples in recent NASCAR history of now established stars drawing the ire of veterans early in their careers due to perceived over-aggressiveness and lack of etiquette. Chastain himself was a polarizing figure as recently as 2023 for his hard-nosed driving style, angering champions like Hamlin, Kyle Larson, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr., and Blaney on his road to becoming a title contender. Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski also frequently scuffled with veterans like Carl Edwards, Tony Stewart, and Kyle Busch in their early years. Even Busch himself was once the young hotshot drawing ire from NASCAR's old guard, regularly feuding with Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jimmy Johnson, and others during his first few seasons in the Cup Series in the mid-2000s. In this sport, when others are angry at you, generally, you've done something right, a 25-year-old Keselowski said in a 2009 USA Today interview after numerous run-ins with Edwards, Hamlin, and Stewart earned him the Crazlowski moniker from peers. Because when you're in a competitive environment, the only time a competitor is going to like you is when they're beating you. They're mad at me because I've been racing too hard, not because I'm causing wrecks. That's pretty damn awesome. But as much as Hocevar's Atlanta performance fits the historical trend of young drivers barging their way into the spotlight, the sophomore's incident-filled day continued a personal pattern of over-the-line aggression that has drawn the ire of competitors and NASCAR officials alike. Last season, Hocevar intentionally wrecked Harrison Burton under caution at Nashville, damaging both their cars and leading to a post-race confrontation between the two rookies. He has been called to the NASCAR hauler to discuss his driving multiple times already in his brief Cup Series career. After climbing from his car on Sunday, Hocevar admitted, "There's some stuff I got to learn and clean up a little bit. We're here to win races, not be a boy band and love each other and play on the playground together." Hocevar told reporters on pit road when asked about the widespread criticism of his driving at Atlanta. The brash rookie gave a lengthy on-camera apology to Kyle Larson and Hendrick Motorsports after the race for squeezing Larson out of the lead on the final lap while pushing Christopher Bell to the win. Hocevar's number 77 Spire Motorsports Chevy receives engines, technical support, and an alliance from Hendrick, making his last lap decision to side with Bell's Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota a fraught one. Hocevar said,